Welcome to Sanctuary Stories, the podcast where we explore the incredible journeys of people seeking sanctuary and the remarkable contributions they've made to the world. I'm Phil, and in each episode we'll take you through the life of one extraordinary individual who defied the odds, overcame adversity, and left a lasting impact on history. Today's story is about a young girl who fled war, found safety in a new country, and went on to become a global music sensation. A refugee, a survivor, and an artist who turned struggle into success. This is the story of Rita Ora. Now, you might be wondering, was Rita Ora a refugee? By the strictest legal definition, a refugee is someone forced to flee their home country due to war, persecution, or violence. Rita and her family fled Kosovo when she was just a baby, escaping ethnic tensions that threatened their safety. They sought sanctuary in the UK, where she grew up and ultimately built her music career. Her life is one of resilience, adaptation, and the power of embracing one's identity, even in the face of hardship. So get ready, because this is Rita Ora's story, a tale of survival, ambition, and the pursuit of dreams. Rita Ora was born Rita Sahaciu Ora on November 26, 1990, in Pristina, Kosovo, to Albanian parents. At the time, Kosovo was part of Yugoslavia, but political tensions were escalating, especially for Albanians. Ethnic violence was on the rise, and her family, like many others, feared for their safety. To fully understand Rita Ora's story, we need to take a look at the history of Kosovo, the place her family was forced to flee. The conflict in Kosovo wasn't just a war, it was a humanitarian crisis that displaced hundreds of thousands of people, including the Ora family. Kosovo has long been a region of ethnic and political tension, mainly between Albanians, who make up the majority, and Serbs. By the late 1980s, Kosovo was an autonomous province within Yugoslavia, but it was growing increasingly unstable. With the majority of Kosovo's population with ethnic Albanian, over 90%, while Serbs were the minority, the Serbian government, led by Slobodan Milosevic, wanted to assert control over Kosovo, considering it a historic Serbian heartland. Albanians, on the other hand, sought greater independence, feeling increasingly repressed under Serbian rule. In 1989, Milosevic stripped Kosovo of its autonomy, leading to protests and growing unrest among Albanians. This marked the beginning of a decade of worsening discrimination, police brutality, and violence. During the 1990s, Kosovo Albanians boycotted Serbian institutions and created a parallel government, but their peaceful resistance efforts were met with repression. The situation escalated when a guerrilla group called the Kosovo Liberation Army, or KLA, emerged fighting for independence for Serbia. By 1998, tensions had turned into a full-scale war between Serbian forces and the KLA. This wasn't just a battle over land. It became a campaign of ethnic violence, mass displacement, and war crimes. Serbian forces, led by Milosevic, launched brutal military offences against Albanians. Villages were burned down, civilians were executed, and thousands were forcibly displaced. Massacres were committed by Serbian troops, targeting Albanian families suspected of supporting the KLA. This was part of what international organizations later called ethnic cleansing, a systematic attempt to remove the Albanian population from Kosovo. By 1999, over 850,000 ethnic Albanians were forced to flee their homes, escaping to neighbouring Albania, Macedonia, and Montenegro. Others sought asylum in Western Europe, including the UK, where the Ora family found safety. Her parents, Vera and Besnik Sahaciu, made the difficult decision to flee before the situation worsened. They sought asylum in the UK, settling in London, where Rita was just a baby. Adjusting to life in a new country wasn't easy. Her parents had to rebuild their lives from scratch, learning a new language, finding work, and navigating an unfamiliar culture, all while raising 3 children. Fleeing from Kosovo, Rita Ora and her family arrived in London in the early 1990s, seeking refuge from ethnic violence. Like many refugee families, they faced the challenges of starting over in an unfamiliar country where language barriers, financial struggles, and cultural differences created daily obstacles. Her parents, Vera and Besnik Sahaciu, worked hard to rebuild their lives. Her mother, Vera, who had been a psychiatrist in Kosovo, had to retrain from scratch in the UK before she could practice again. Her father, Besnik, ran a pub, working long hours to support the family. Despite their struggles, they always emphasized education and hard work, instilling in Rita the belief that she could achieve anything if she put in the effort. Growing up in the multicultural neighbourhoods of Notting Hill and West London, Rita was surrounded by a mix of cultures, languages, and influences. But even in such a diverse city, being an immigrant and a refugee child came with its challenges. She spoke both Albanian at home and had to learn English quickly to keep up in school. She sometimes felt caught between 2 identities, proud of her Kosovo Albanian roots, but eager to fit in with her British peers. At times, she faced discrimination, being seen as different because of her background. Music became her escape and her connection to both worlds. She had a natural talent for singing, and even as a child, she would perform at home for her family. Her parents recognized her passion and encouraged her to develop her talent, seeing it as a way for her to express herself and build confidence. As a young girl growing up in West London, Rita often sang in her father's pub, the Queen's Arms in Kilburn. She was just a child, but her voice was already strong and full of confidence. Customers were often surprised that this little girl could belt out songs with such passion. Her father, Besnik, encouraged her, allowing her to perform for pub regulars. It became a sort of unofficial stage where she gained early experience in front of an audience. She later said that singing in the pub was where she learned to connect with people through music, which became a key part of her performance style later on. One evening, a music manager happened to be in the pub and heard her singing. Impressed by her raw talent, he approached her family and encouraged them to pursue music seriously. This was one of the first moments when Rita and her parents realized that her singing might not just be a hobby, it could actually be a career. As a teenager, Rita became even more determined to break into the music industry. She would often sneak out to perform at open mic nights, even if it meant missing homework or getting in trouble for being out late. She once admitted in an interview that she skipped school to audition for Eurovision, Your Country Needs You, a talent show meant to select the UK's Eurovision entry. She got through the auditions, but later withdrew from the competition, realizing she wanted to make it in music on her own terms, rather than through a reality show. Before getting signed to a record label, Rita also busked on the streets of London. She would set up in busy areas like Portobello Road Market and sing for passer-bys. Sometimes people ignored her, but other times they stopped and threw coins into her guitar case. It was tough, but it helped her build the resilience and stage presence that later made her such a powerful performer. She later said that singing in the streets was a lesson in rejection. If people didn't like your music, they just walked away. All these experiences, singing in the pub, sneaking out for gigs, busking in the streets, taught her how to perform under pressure. They gave her the confidence to handle crowds, rejection, and tough industry professionals. Determined to support her dreams, Rita's parents enrolled her in the Sylvia Young Theatre School, one of London's most prestigious performing art schools. The school had trained stars like Amy Winehouse and Dua Lipa, and Rita was determined to follow in their footsteps. There, she honoured her skills in singing, acting, and performing. But attending a private performing arts school wasn't easy for a working class refugee family. Her parents made financial sacrifices to keep her enrolled. Outside of school, she actively sought out opportunities to sing. She performed at local pubs, open mic nights, and charity events, determined to make a name for herself. Like any aspiring artist, Rita Ora faced rejection before finding success. The music industry was notoriously competitive, and breaking in as a young immigrant girl with no connections was even more challenging. She auditioned for record labels and talent shows, hoping for a breakthrough, but many doors remained closed. Industry executives told her she wasn't ready, that her style wasn't quite right, or that she didn't fit the mold of a pop star at the time. There were moments when she doubted herself, wondering if she would ever get the chance to prove her talent. Seeing others get signed while she continued to struggle was discouraging, but she refused to let rejection define her. Instead of giving up, she used every setback as fuel to keep going. She worked even harder, performing at open mic nights, local gigs, and even busting on the streets to make sure her voice was heard. She often credits her refugee background for her resilience. Her parents had arrived in the UK with nothing and rebuilt their lives from the ground up. That strength and determination inspired her to keep pushing forward. If they could survive and thrive in a new country, then she could handle a few rejections in the music industry. She kept going, believing that if she worked hard enough, someone would eventually recognize her talent. And that moment finally came when she was discovered and signed by Roc Nation, proving that persistence and self-belief can turn even the hardest struggles into success. Her persistence paid off when she was discovered by Roc Nation, Jay-Z's record label. Signing a major record deal was a turning point. It meant that all these years of struggle, rejection, and perseverance had been worth it. From a refugee child in West London to an international pop star, Rita Ora's journey proves that no matter where you come from, dreams are possible with determination and resilience. After years of relentless hustle, performing at open mic nights, small gigs, and even busking on the streets, Rita Ora's big break finally came when she was discovered by Jay-Z's Roc Nation label. Signing a record deal with one of the biggest names in the music industry was a dream come true, but it was just the beginning. Her debut album, Aura, was released in 2012 and became an instant success, debuting at #1 on the UK album charts. The album showcased her powerful voice, infectious energy, and ability to blend pop, R&B, and dance music effortlessly. The album produced several hit singles, including R.I.P., How We Do Party, and Shine Your Light, which dominated the charts and airwaves. R.I.P. featuring Tinny Temper became her first UK #1 single, establishing her as one of the most exciting new voices in pop music. As her popularity skyrocketed, she collaborated with some of the biggest names in the industry. She worked with Drake, Calvin Harris, Iggy Azalea, Charlie XCX, and Liam Payne, proving her versatility and ability to adapt across genres. Songs like I Will Never Let You Down, produced by Calvin Harris, and Black Widow with Iggy Azalea, further cemented her status as an international pop star. Beyond music, Rita's star power extended into other areas. She became a fashion icon, a brand ambassador, and a judge on major talent shows like The X Factor UK and The Voice UK. Her vibrant personality and undeniable talent made her a favourite among fans, and her ability to balance pop stardom with authenticity set her apart. Rita Ora's artistic success doesn't stop at music. Over the years, she has branched into acting, proving her versatility as a performer. She appeared as Mia Grey in the 50 Shades of Grey film trilogy, bringing her charisma to the big screen. She also played Dr. Anne Laurent in Pokémon, Detective Pikachu 2019, further cementing her presence in mainstream Hollywood. Beyond film, she has been a fashion icon, brand ambassador, and a television personality. The Masked Singer, judging on shows like The X Factor UK, The Masked Singer UK, and The Voice Australia. With every new venture, she challenges expectations and continues to evolve. Despite all the glitz and glamour, Rita never forgot her roots. She frequently spoke about her family's refugee journey and the sacrifices her parents made to give her a better future. In interviews, she expressed deep gratitude for the opportunity she found in the UK, but she also used her platform to raise awareness about displaced communities worldwide, whether through her music, philanthropy, or advocacy. She remained committed to giving back, proving that success wasn't just about personal achievement, it was about lifting others up along the way. Rita Ora was not just a pop star. She was a vocal advocate for refugees, human rights, and empowerment. While her music career has made her a global icon, she has never forgotten the struggles that shaped her family's journey, or the experiences of those still seeking sanctuary today. She has worked extensively with organizations like UNICEF, the United Nations Refugee Agency, the UNHCR, and War Child UK, using her platform to raise awareness and funds for displaced people around the world. She has spoken passionately about the importance of providing education, healthcare, and opportunities to refugees, ensuring that they are given the tools to rebuild future beyond their displacement. In 2019, she returned to Kosovo as a UNICEF ambassador, visiting children affected by poverty, conflict, and displacement. The trip was deeply personal for her. It was not just about charity, but about reconnecting with her roots and ensuring that Kosovo's younger generation had the support and resources they needed to thrive. During her visit, she spent time with children in orphanages, schools, and refugee camps, offering both practical support and inspiration. Her emotional connection to her homeland continues to drive humanitarian efforts, and she regularly uses her fame, influence, and voice to shine a light on refugee issues both in Kosovo and beyond. She once said, "I wouldn't be where I am today without my parents' bravery. They fled a war-torn country with nothing, so my siblings and I could have a future. I owe everything to them." Her words reflect not only gratitude, but also a deep sense of responsibility. She understands that her success is built on the sacrifices of those before her, and she remains committed to helping others rise above adversity, just as she did. Despite her success, Rita has faced challenges, both personal and professional. As a woman in the music industry, she has had to fight for creative control, ensuring that her voice and vision remain at the forefront of her career. She has spoken openly about navigating sexism in the entertainment world, pushing against industry expectations and demanding to be recognized for her artistry rather than just her image. As a refugee, she has had to prove that her past does not define her limitations, but rather her strength. She has never shied away from Kosovo Albanian heritage, embracing it as a core part of her identity. She frequently incorporates elements of her culture into her music, visuals, and performances, celebrating her roots on the global stage. Whether through traditional sounds, language, or cultural symbols, she ensures her heritage remains woven into her success story. In 2018, she was named an honorary ambassador for Kosovo, further solidifying her role as a cultural bridge between her homeland and global stage. It was a moment of pride and recognition, not just for her, but for her entire Kosovo Albanian community, proving that refugees can go on to represent their nations on the world's biggest platforms. Her story is a powerful reminder that refugees are not just victims. They are survivors, dreamers, and contributors to society. Through music, philanthropy, and activism, she continues to redefine what it means to come from a refugee background, proving that adversity can be the foundation of greatness. Today, Rita Ora stands as one of the UK's most successful female artists, with multiple number 1 singles, sold out tours, acting roles, and fashion collaborations with global brands. She has performed on some of the biggest stages in the world, from the MTV Europe Music Awards to the Oscars, and continues to reinvent herself, proving that her talent and ambition know no limits. But beyond her career, her journey is a symbol of resilience, perseverance, and the power of embracing one's identity. Despite all the female accolades and global success, Rita Ora has never lost sight of where she came from. In a recent interview, she reflected on how her refugee background shaped her resilience and artistry. I never take anything for granted. I know what it's like to have nothing, to start over in a new country, to watch my parents sacrifice everything for us. That's why I work as hard as I do, because I know that success isn't just about talent, it's about perseverance. And if I can inspire even one person to believe in themselves, to keep going no matter what, then that's what really matters to me. This perspective fuels her work ethic, creativity, and determination. It's why she continues to push boundaries, reinvent herself, and use her platform for something bigger than just entertainment. Her story challenges the narrative surrounding refugees. She is not just someone who fled violence, she is someone who overcame adversity, pursued her passion, and now uses her platform to give back. From supporting humanitarian organizations to advocating for young women and displaced communities, she has never forgotten where she came from. In doing so, she reminds the world that refugees are not just survivors, they are creators, innovators, and contributors to society. Rita Ora's journey is not just about escaping war, it's about finding a new home, chasing dreams, and proving that those who seek sanctuary have so much to offer the world. She took the hardships of her past and transformed them into strength, ambition, and success, proving that where you start in life does not define where you can go. Her story reminds us that sanctuary is often more than just a place. It's an opportunity to rebuild, to thrive, and to create a new future. It is the space where dreams take root, where hope is reignited, where the past does not dictate the future. Her life stands as proof that given the chance, refugees don't just survive, they flourish. That's it for this episode of Sanctuary Stories. Next week, we'll be diving into another incredible journey. So stay tuned, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening. A huge thank you to Soulful Jam Tracks for the music. You can find all the artists, credits, references, and resources in the episode description. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps. And if you have a moment, leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep striving, keep thriving.